Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chan here from NBC Sports Bay Area. Day 7 of training camp is in the books. I am like a hot, sweaty mess. It was hot there, and then I came home and worked out, and now here I am before I get ready to go to bed. So, quite a few moves today with the 49ers. There was some returns to practice and some people that were missing. So, returns to practice. Ricky Pearsall, we saw him. Um, he was back out in practice after resting a day. Saw him out there. Michael Williams was also back out there. We saw him a little bit, and Ben Barch off the NFI back into the mix. So good to see him out there. And guys who are resting today: Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Juszczyk, and Nick Bosa. So 4 guys resting, planned rest. Now, there were some absences that we know about that we were prepared for: Jacob Cowing and Renardo Green, who will be back in 2 weeks before the 49ers have their joint practices with the Raiders, hopefully. Now, Deommodore Lenoir missed another practice, and we finally talked to Kyle Shanahan. I kept asking what was going on, and no one had an answer. But Deommodore Lenoir has been dealing with a hip, I guess, uncomfortable feeling in his hip, issue with his hip. He should miss this 3 block of practices. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, he'll miss those 3 days. Rest on Sunday, everybody's off, and then hopefully they think he'll be back on Monday. So Deommodore Lenoir missed another practice. He'll miss 4 total. He'll be back on Monday, is what they hope. Jordan James, not as positive there. Kyle Shanahan said he's dealing with a knee issue. In a week, they're going to reevaluate it. Which sucks for Jordan James. That's why they brought in some new guys. But before we get to that, another injury that doesn't sound good is Juwan James. No timeline for Juwan James to make his way back with a calf injury. It's the same calf injury that bothered him back at minicamp. They hoped after the 40 days away he would be back, but he's not. So no timeline for Juwan Jennings. At least there is a timeline for Deommodore Lenoir. They do need him back because the secondary without Renardo Green, very light right now. So with that in mind, they did sign some other players, new players. Amir Abdullah, veteran running back, he's going to wear number 38. And I really do think that's because Jordan James is out, and he probably will be out for a while. They also signed quarterback Carter Bradley. Now, Carter Bradley was there on Wednesday. They tried out a lot of players. They tried out running backs, they tried out wide receivers, and Carter Bradley is Gus Bradley's son. So they signed him. He is the 4th, 5th quarterback because Curtis Rourke is probably going to be on IR the entire year. It's a redshirt year for him because he's recovering from ACL surgery. So the wide receivers that they brought in: Andy Isabella, who they know from 2019 at the Senior Bowl. He was there when they met Deebo Samuel. He was one of the guys who ran a really fast, like a 4.2 40. They signed him, and they signed Marquez Callaway. So I did ask Kyle Shanahan, does he remember anything about Andy Isabella at all, because they've known him since 2019. Kyle Shanahan said, haven't seen him for a while, just playing against him. And I think we had him in the Senior Bowl a long time ago, but always with him, it started with his 40. Anytime he ran those 4.2s, that sticks out. It's a different type of speed. That's what we've noticed when he ran away from us a number of times when he was at Arizona. I do remember those plays. He said that's what made him kind of different. Just during the workout yesterday, you could see that he still had the speed, and getting some speed in here is something that we thought we needed. Now, they do have Jordan Watkins, who is also a fast guy, but he's a rookie. So Andy Isabella, the guy who has more experience, I just think even though he hasn't been in Kyle Shanahan's system with him yet, I think guys who are veterans have a better chance of being active quickly. They also brought in Marquez Callaway. He's going to wear number 3, and Isabella is going to wear number 7. So those are all the new guys. Now, because of those new guys coming in, they did have to release 4 guys. They actually released Equanimeous St. Brown, wide receiver. They waived offensive lineman Sebastian Gutierrez, wide receiver Malik Knowles, and safety Jalen Mahoney. So those guys, they always have an opportunity to come back. Kyle Shanahan does keep track of how they worked, what their work ethic was, what they did in practice. But obviously there's a need. And Andy Isabella is a guy who they think would do a better job than maybe Malik Knowles or Equanimeous St. Brown. So, I think St. Brown was there for about a week. So they try them out, see how they go. And if it doesn't work out, or they try out guys that they think might be better, they try them out. They can always release those guys, bring the other guys back. So they'll see how it goes. So those are the transactions and the things that we saw at practice on Thursday. Friday is going to be a longer practice. It is going to be, that's their longest practice of the week. It's the second day of the 3. They are practicing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday off. We still are going to go up there because we have the opportunity to talk to the assistant coaches. So that's on Sunday. I'm going to be in San Jose every single day. So today's practice, I watched one-on-ones between wide receivers and cornerbacks today. Now I've been mostly watching offensive line, defensive line, but I decided, all right, let me watch the wide receivers versus the cornerbacks today. And it was lively. And there were some great routes. There were some great PBUs. But one pairing that I thought stood out the most was Russell Gage Jr. versus Upton Stout. Now, I interviewed Upton Stout one-on-one. It is on the latest 49ers Talk. Check it out. There's a video, everything. He talks so fast. It was so hard for me to transcribe it. Not hard, but it just took me a while because I kept having to pause. But, he's a guy that they're putting a lot on his plate as the nickel receiver, as a rookie, nickel defensive back covering the receivers. Sorry. So Upton Stout is, he's got a full plate in front of him. He's been getting a lot of advice from Deommodore Lenoir, Jason Pinnock, Fred Warner. All those guys have been really helping him out, and he's been really trying to soak it up like a sponge. So he has been working against Russell Gage Jr., who is a vet. Russell Gage Jr. is a guy who came back from patellar tendon surgery. Now, that injury ended Weston Richburg's career. Remember that the center who was there when I remember him being on crutches in New Orleans after the game where George Kittle ran with 3 guys on his back. That was the game that Weston Richburg's career ended. Mike McGlinchey has talked about how he still feels his patellar tendon injury. It could have ended Drake Jackson's career. He has been dealing with it as well. So Russell Gage fought through it, though. 2 years it took him to come back from this patellar tendon injury, and he's running great routes and really trying to teach Upton Stout how to cover those routes. And now, when they've been matching up, Upton Stout is with him for the first half, and then Russell Gage finds a way to shake him and get separation, and then the pass is complete. Fascinating to watch. I was like, wow, that was a great route. Wow, that was a great route. Now, there is an advantage for the wide receiver having experience in running routes in the NFL, but I think it's such a great tool for Upton Stout. And Russell Gage told Matt Maiocco he loves working with him, loves his competition, his fire, the way he plays. And Upton Stout clearly loves playing up against Russell Gage. I think it's a great pairing. I did see a great route from Isaiah Nair, and he got great separation, and he was going up against Jacob Robinson, who's been a great defensive back. He's had a lot of plays every practice. So Isaiah Nair ran a great route, had the ball in his hands. Jacob Robinson came up and slapped it out and created a PBU. So great parts of the play on both, but obviously Jacob Robinson won in the end. I also saw a great pass breakup by Trey Brown. It was a pass for why am I blanking his name? Jordan Watkins. Good Lord. It's 90 guys. But Trey Brown had a nice pass breakup there. It was a really great rep. And then I also saw nice passes, receptions by Junior Bergen, and really nice route, great route. And that was against Eli Apple. Saw some good routes by Andy Isabella. He went up against Trey Avery. So there was some good reps. And then after that was over, I walked over to offensive line, defensive line. I saw Michael Williams win a rep, and then I saw Michael Williams not win a rep. I saw up to CJ West win a rep again. He's been doing really well, but he is going to have to add some repertoire to his skill set. He can't bull rush all the time. He's going to have to add some, but I do see a lot of power from him. He gets low, he gets underneath guys' pads. Hopefully it translates to games, and we'll see that in the first preseason game next week already. Hall of Fame game. Chargers beat the Lions, but it doesn't really matter. None of the stars are playing, but good to see some of those guys who are fighting for jobs out there. And that's what it's going to be like when the 49ers face off with the Denver Broncos. I think the joint practices are going to be really interesting. Dre Greenlaw, I heard, had a hamstring injury, so he left practice today. Talanoa Hufanga will be there, so it'll be like old home week for those guys. But outside of that, best plays of the day, biggest hits, D Winters. Man, he is thudding up against receivers and running backs. It was against, I think, Isaac Garendo. I was like, ooh, everybody was like, wow. So he's been delivering some hard hits. Nick Martin had a great play. It was a pass from Mac Jones to Junior Bergen. Nick Martin got in there and forced the fumble. Best play of the day by the offense was a deep pass from Brock Purdy to Demarcus Robinson. Jason Pinnock was in coverage. Deep ball, perfect placement. I mean, everybody after practice was asking Kyle Shannon, has his deep ball gotten better? I think he's always had it. He hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities to do it. Another great pass was from Mac Jones to Ricky Pearsall. He was in double coverage. That was a really nice pass. He's got some wiggle to him, and he was being covered by Trey Brown and Marcus Siegel, who has also played some good ball. He's been exciting to watch. So those are your best passes and defensive plays of the day. Kicking news, 4 of 4, both guys. They kicked 4 times from the 33, 37, 43, and 54-yard line. Greg Joseph and Jake Moody both hit all 4 of 4. All right, that is my wrap up for day 7 of 49ers training camp. Stay tuned for day 8. I'll be back tomorrow for more news, probably more team reps, bigger plays. Talk to you guys soon.